Hello everyone, welcome to Steve's Family Workshop. So today I'd like to speak with you about reloading my 223 from my service rifle. Now the other part of my channel is called 10X Firearms, and as the title implies, we discuss things firearms related. And today we're going to discuss my loading process that I use and why I came up with the process I have and the issues I came across that led me to do what I do. So that being said, let's go over my equipment first. Most of my equipment is RCBS, only because when I started loading, that's honestly what my son picked out, so we bought it. I have an electronic powder measurer, I have an electronic scale here, and I have a balance beam here. I have a manual dispenser here that obviously because of the electronic dispenser I no longer use. This is my seating press, which I have set for magazine length. That's all I load through here. I never change it. This particular press here I purchased so I can pull bullets. I don't really like to switch dies going back and forth. I know the press is a little expensive, but hey, whatever. So that's what this one does for me. If I have to pull a bullet, I just pull it over here. Now, there's a couple steps in my process. And it's check, recheck, and recheck. All right. The first thing is after I tumble my brass, all my cases get turned upside down. No primers in them. And the reason I do this is I use stainless steel media. And that media sometimes will get stuck in the flash holes in this brass. And by turning them upside down, which I've already inspected this, I can inspect these to make sure that they're free of any debris, any media, so I know I'm not going to have an issue from that perspective. Then from there, what I do is I pin gauge. What do I mean by pin gauge? Why do I pin gauge? All your primer pockets will come out close to the normal size, or sometimes they'll come out oversized. And because of the issues I've had, where sometimes I go to the range, pull a round out of a box, you get your click and no bang, and you look in the box and the primer's laying in there. Well, that's because your primer pocket's oversized. And this brass has been shot one time. Starline brass, so this is my pin gauge. This particular side is 174 plus, which is pretty much the same size as the primer. The other side is 175 plus. So if I put this pin gauge in this brass, it doesn't go in. So that's going to tell me that I can use this brass pretty much with certainty that it's not going to fail. Now this particular one I have here, it's also the Starline brass shot one time. Okay, I pin gauged it, and the 174 goes in. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I can use those for practice, which I do. I don't use them in league play. However, if I flip this over and put in the 175 and it goes on, I don't use them because this stands a very good chance of blowing a primer when I shoot or staying in the box when I pull the round out. So this one here, this gets the recycle bin, so I don't use these ones. So that's why I pin gauge. Now, next thing I do is I put the primer in. Now you can see all my stuff isn't progressive. Everything is single load. Everything I do is just one at a time. I like to feel the primers go in. I like to see the powder go in. I like to put the bullet in and feel it go in. So again, RCBS priming tool. All I do is I take this case, I put it in the collet, and I squeeze. Now from there, the primer is in. You inspected it to make sure it's the right side up, and then I put it in my tray. Okay. Now, again, everything is upside down. I can inspect all these cases and make sure the primers are the right way. Why is this important? Why do I do it? One year at Camp Perry, one of my teammates shooting the President's 100. We said, how did it go? Held up a round with the primer upside down. So that's why I developed this process, so I have another visual inspection. With me, it's inspect, 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 and try to remove all the possible error that you're going to have when you're shooting your matches. Okay. So now that I have my primer in my case, I'm going to go ahead and load a case. Now, I just use the regular styrofoam trays that many factory ammunition comes in. There's no sense in going out and buy expensive trays that everybody sells. These things work just great. Now, I have this scale set to 23. I think I mentioned earlier that it's accurate to plus or minus 0.1. This particular time, this scale measured out 23.1, and I have it set to 23. So I'm going to put it on my balance beam here, which is where I finish everything off, and see how close it is to 23.1. Most of the time I have to trickle them in. And it says it's 23.1, but it's still under. So that's what I talk about, the accuracy of that particular scale. It's close, but it's not a scale like that measures out to the 100,000th. So now I'm going to grab the funnel, insert the powder. Now you notice this is the only thing I'm doing. I'm not paying attention to that powder being dispensed out. Door is closed, no one can interrupt me. I'm handling this case through the whole process. I'm going to put it in the press over here. Now my press here has a window on it, a loading window. I'm going to stand up so you can see it. I don't have to put this bullet on here and ride it up like with some dies that you have. I'll put this in here and there's a window and this collet comes up and all I do is drop it in. And then I press it down. And that's it. And then I weigh it. Again, why do I weigh it? 2 months ago, clicking no bang at Ridgeville. Working on a clean. Last shot, click, no bang. Ejected the round, threw another round in. Fortunate enough, I got an X clean at target. Came home, pulled the bullet, no powder. So I used to take the cases and have them all right side up. And I would load the powder in every one. But for any reason, if I had gotten distracted, moved the funnel to the wrong place, that's what I ended up with. So the reason I do what I do now, one at a time, is because of that issue. And then you measure them. I don't measure every one because I never change the setup on my die. And this is measuring 2255. I'm sorry, 2255. Magazine length is 2260. So I'm well within what I have to be. And I'll go ahead and I'll put it back on my tray. And that's basically my process. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I know my process is a little long, it's a little time consuming, but these are things that I feel I have to do to eliminate as much error as I can possibly have when I get to Camp Perry or Talladega. So that being said, I really hope you like this video. Greatly appreciate it if you like, subscribe, share with your friends. Hope to see you on the range. Have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.